everyone. Welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and a finale of our Lindbergh's Red Demon kit. Uh, I want to give a background a little bit of this. It was sent to me by Arthur, who was a friend of the channel, and his dad, Stanley, had this kit back in the 60s. Um, I checked it out. This kit was made in 1964, and Stanley was a model builder and a race car builder too. And real quick, let me put a couple of pictures up here of him and his race cars, because I'll tell you what, that's pretty impressive stuff. And at the end of this, I want to add one more thing to this build. So if you guys all stick around till the end after the music, I'm going to do one more thing. I'll bring you back. I've never done this before, but I want to do one more thing that I think will be pretty darn special here. But this kit was a blast to build. Not going to say it was easy. It was a challenge, mainly because it was so big. I don't have the room to build something this big. I thought I did until I got into it, but I found out really quick that I don't. But other than that, the kit was a blast. Arthur, I can't tell you how awesome it was to do this and how honored I am that you had me do it. Arthur found this kit in a garage, so this is a garage find. His dad had it up on top of a cabinet in his garage, like I said, way back in the 60s. And it was open box, things were looked at and everything, but it was never really started. And out of the whole thing, there was only one piece missing, and it wasn't a big deal. I was able to make it, and we moved on from there. It was really even fun to do that. But one thing about the kit is the plastic is starting to become a little brittle, so I'm not going to pick it up and move it around like I usually do and flip it upside down, just because I don't want any more damage. You can see right here, this is not attached, because the tension that it had across the rear suspension was enough to where it cracked itself. I came down one day and this piece was broke, so I was able to glue it back together again, and instead of putting it in the bracket down below, I'm just letting it keep tension up on the top here. It's not going to hurt anything. This isn't going anywhere, trust me. But it's going to keep this in one piece. And then I even left the scar on there. There, I'll show you even better. I even left the scar on that right here, just because I thought it was pretty cool that I was able to save it. And it happened at a point where it was not a big deal. But I don't want to. I could pull this down. It'll go right now. I can pull it down and put it in there. But again, that tension on there, it already broke once. I don't want to go anymore. This was supposed to be, you could do 3 different kits. You could do one that was like a dune buggy type kit. You could do one, it was called the Blue Streak, I believe it is. And I think that one had the blower in it, but not the bed. It had like a big gas tank in the back here. I wanted the truck bed. I wanted the blower. So in order to put the blower in, I had to use I think it's called the Canary kit, which had a big nose cone on the front here. I didn't really care for the nose cone, so I was going to do the big radiator in here. No problem. I had it all built up and ready to go. Found out that radiator doesn't fit with the blower belt. There wasn't any room here. It was actually hitting. So I had to go with the smaller radiator, but I just opted to not put the cone on the front. And I like the stance that gives this. It really, I mean, that's a good looking kit right there. I would like to have a car like that. The decals I made, except for the gauge decals on the inside, I used the ones that Jim Pelosi sent me. He was a lot of help in this. He sent me 2 sets of um, decals for this, which had flames. I mean, the full set for it. One was purple and one was like the red for the Red Demon, but it had 2 different kinds of gauge setups. So I opted on the white ones. I like the way those look in there. Whoop. I like the way those look in there, and they really look good when it's lit. So he also sent me the spider caps, which were the 5 and then the center, and then I just had to make the little flat piece, and that was no problem. Just popped it out and scalloped it, and they went on great. They painted great, but they look fantastic on these rims with the white walls. It just kind of ties everything in together. We did a debate on white walls, fenders, no white walls, no fenders, and whatever we could come up in between. And it worked out to where the fenders were made for the smaller tires in the back. So I went no fenders in the back. I looked at it. I didn't really care for the fenders in the front, but the wife liked the white walls, and the wife gets what she wants. So we got the white walls, and I'm glad she said that, because that really makes it pop. It gives it a little bit more color and a little bit more flash to it. The blower and the front, the engine is just an amazing setup. I keep getting my finger in there. I'm sorry. Like I said, I just don't want to keep picking this thing up. But the engine, I didn't have to do a whole lot to really, really make it pop. Now, Jim sent me the red hoses, and the only thing I had to do is, instead of just pushing them over top, I had to drill holes in the carb and in the fuel block that he sent me. Look at, he casted that fuel block, and it's hard to see, but he casted that voltage regulator for me too. So those 2 are on there. He has them too. If you're ever looking for them, give him a shout. I know I have his description or his information in the description, or you could find him on Grandpa Mark's Hobbies on Facebook. So he did a great job helping me out there. And not only that, but he helped me out with some of the ideas and some of the things that I should have been going with, and just kept me on track on this. So I really appreciate it, Jim. You were a lot of help. A lot more than I think you know you were helping. So, but this is this side. Like I said, the trunk, I had a blast with that. It went on no problem. If you look underneath, my exhaust came out really well, except for about a half an hour ago, I broke one of the mufflers, the far side muffler, so it's gluing, and I got a little piece of Tamiya tape holding it in place so I could keep on moving here. In the back, I don't know if you'll be able to see underneath there, but there is an infrared receiver for the remote, because this bad boy's got 15 LEDs stuffed in it. All the wires are run back into the trunk. I got a 9-volt battery tucked in there, along with an Arduino Mini that I got programmed to, I think, about 300 lines of code to make this whole thing work. We had a debate on the steering wheel. Since I painted the steering wheel wood, we had a debate on that dashboard, whether or not it should be wood or it should be chrome. So we all decided it was wood. I'm glad I went that route, because I really think that looks good. I'll have better pictures than what this video is taking right now. I added the water bottle there instead of the radio and telephone handle. Water bottle. How about if I say I added the fire extinguisher to it instead? That's just, I put that there because there was a hole there for where the mount went for the telephone receiver. And this card wouldn't have a telephone in it. I'm sorry. Not the way this one is. All the chrome work is done with green stuff sprayed on over gloss black, and it kind of went to a black, kind of like a black chrome almost. It's darker than what you would get dipped, so I ended up, everything that was chrome on here except for, and I'm going to swing you around, the brakes and these 4 little bolts here and a couple of little things here and there that I just wanted to have a little color difference. Went in LA Awesome and all got painted up, and I'll tell you what, it was pretty cool. I showed a video in one of my updates of how much glitter was inside my LA Awesome. So I'm going to pause you here, and I'm going to flip this thing around, and I'll bring you right back. All right, here we are on the other side. Show you the interior again from this way. Give you a little better look at that dashboard. All the indicator lights, the dashboard, the gauge lights are all lit. So when the turning signals are on, the indicator lights are on. High beams, power, everything there works. So the skull we drilled out, we added, my windshield's pretty fogged up here. It looks a lot better than what it's showing on the camera for some reason. I'm not sure why, but Mr. Skull is lit. The turn signals are lit. The headlights are lit with high and low beams. The tail lights are lit. I'll bring you around to those in a little bit here. But what I want to show you is this side of the engine. On the carburetors, I added the linkage and everything. The cross linkage and the drop down into the throttle that's a piece of hose that was supposed to be the fuel line hose. And I figured I'll just make that into a cable. I hooked it all up, ran it in through the dashboard, into the back here, down where it'd go to the throttle, and painted it silver. And I think it looks pretty good. For all that, our wiring, again, in the back there, it's hard to see because I painted it the way it was supposed to be with the gloss black and the silver around the base, but there's your voltage regulator, your starter solenoid. The voltage regulator came from Jim Pelosi, and also there's a good picture of that fuel block too. But the starter solenoid I ended up making from scratch. And then all the wires are the way they're supposed to be. I'm running from the generator up to the voltage regulator, from the voltage regulator to the starter solenoid to the coil, from the coil to the ground, from the voltage regulator back into the amp meter or the voltmeter, and from the starter solenoid down to the starter, and back on up around again and back into the ignition. So everything's there, everything's working, and it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. First time I ever made a starter solenoid. But this thing's got a stance to it. It really looks like it's going fast when it's just sitting there. So let me turn you around one more time, and we'll show you how the lights work and everything. Don't forget, I got that surprise at the end of this thing, and we're going to do that music videos like I always do at my finish. So let me spin you around here. All right, the world's cheapest remote control. I hate this thing. I'm going to reprogram a TV remote because this thing has so much key bounce, it's not even funny. But let's fire up this on, like I said, I'm running to a 9-volt battery with an IR sensor all the way in the back in the tail. But what's nice is it will pick it up. We'll power up. And you see when I power up, I'm going to go upside down here. It's going to flip. But I got the power light on inside just to show you the power is on. Now we'll bring the headlights on. See how they flash? It won't do that with a better remote. But our headlights are on, and our skull is lit. How cool is that, huh? I'll draw you in. Mr. Skull is lit, looking ominous. We'll back you back here a little bit. And how about if we go left turn? Right turn. And it does 10 times every time you go through it. And then we got flashers. And once that's done, I'll show you we even have high beams on this thing. If I can get them to stay on. There they go. We even have high beams. So like I said, once I get this dang remote switched over to an old TV remote, I won't get that flash that we're getting here. But we got the high beams, low beams, turn signals, headlights on the front. We're all set with, and we even have flashes on here. Flashes will even work without the power being on. Just like on a regular car, I tried to think this thing through as best as I could. A lot of lines of code. So let me bring you back, and I'll show you the back end of this thing and the dashboard, which is pretty dang impressive. I'm happy the way it came out. All right, now you can see by the indicator inside, we have power ready to go. So how about if we bring on our lights? Dang remote. But with the lights, you see, we even have the blue dot. Thank you, Jim, for that too. I put Stanley on the license plate. That was Arthur's dad, and I had to give him some credit. This was his kit, and I'm sure he would have built it a lot better than I did. But I had to put his name on the license plate. So we got our taillights on, and if you look, that also brings on our gauge lights. So there's two LEDs behind the gauges, lights all them up, gives a good backlight. Our turn signals, I'm going to bring you up here. You'll be able to see that when the turn signals are on, you also have the indicator in the on the dash on too. So we have turn signals left, turn signals right, and again, the indicator inside. And those indicator lights are just those mini LEDs I've been using, and I painted them green with Tamiya's Clear. We'll do brake lights. I'm not going to show you flashers, but I will show you the brake lights. And with the brake lights on, it doesn't show you the green lights on the inside. So it was all written separately. So I'll show you the brake lights when they're on. When they're on, you don't have indicator lights showing the brake lights are on. You don't have it in a car, you just have it the way it is. But you got them in the back here, and they're nice and bright and good to go. So we are awesome here. When we go to flashers, you do have the flasher indicators inside, and that will work with the power being on or off. So there's that. And with that, I'm going to bring up some music, and we'll show you a quick, real quick video, or music video of this being built. And then I got the last piece. This is going to be like the last piece of the puzzle to make this thing perfect. So right after the music, I'll bring you back. Okay, I hope you like that real quick music video. The last thing I want to put in here, and I want to do this for Stanley, and for Arthur, because I just think it's well deserved, and I don't know. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. Oh, before we do this, I wanted to show you that we do have oil in here. And that just drops down inside the dipstick tube I put in. But I wanted to show you this. I did this last night because I really, really appreciated what he did for me and let me build this and everything. But I made a magazine that I'm going to put on the front seat with the picture of his dad and his dad's race car on there that he was running at, I think it's Delmar at the time. And that was back in the 70s. I know I'm saying this car is in the 60s, but I really don't care. I just wanted to have this in there with his car on there. So we're going to take some clear Mod Podge, and we're going to make this permanent. So we're going to Mod Podge up this in the back, just like this. I'm putting a bunch in there. I want this to stay. We'll do that. I'm going to throw this brush in there, and I'm going to make it to where it's facing this way, so when you're on that side of the car, you'll be able to read it. And that's going to go right on the passenger seat, and that's where it's going to stay forever. And Arthur, I really hope you like it. And I can't tell you again how much I appreciate this experience. So with that, I will let you all go. I want to thank all our veterans. I want to thank all our first responders for all the service they do. They're always out there for us. And I want to give a shout to Automotive Model Car Livecast. They're every Thursday. Those guys are awesome. They do a great show, and it's a whole lot of fun to watch. And then with that, I will let you go. You all have a great day and a better tomorrow. And thank you again for watching.